With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Betting on sports can be hard, but hiring Morgan & Morgan is easy. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/bestbets or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/bestbets. This is a paid advertisement.
Follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
It's good to have you on board. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. And, Pauly, we're going to hit college football here as the Boca Raton Bowl is going on as we speak. Almost halfway through the first quarter now, in fact, a little bit more than that, and James Madison leads Western Kentucky 7-0. The updated live numbers on this game, James Madison laying 12.5, and the total is 51.5, and the managing editor of VSiN.com, Adam Burke, joins the program now. He also did a phenomenal job of putting together the playoff betting guide here at VSiN, and he is on the progressive guest line. Adam, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. How are you?
Good to be with you guys, man. I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Did you have a bet, by the way, on this ongoing bowl game right now in Boca Raton?
Yeah, I got under 52, so a little bit better than what the closing number was. But, I mean, this is kind of your quintessential bowl game experience now where you got a bunch of guys in the transfer portal, questions about motivation. James Madison's QB not even in the portal but not playing because he's hurt. So, just figured that was an under type of play for sure.
Yeah, bowl season, a tad tricky here in current times. I mean, and look no further than the game that we have coming up tonight, the LA Bowl between Cal and UNLV. This got to Cal -4 after the announcement of Barry Odom would be stepping away as a UNLV coach. He eventually took the Purdue job, and then their quarterback hits the transfer portal. Other guys are doing the same thing, and UNLV is now favored by 3.5 points. So what do you make of the current numbers on this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, this number just kind of kept going and going and going with UNLV kind of within the last 24 to 48 hours or so. Just started moving up. We're putting all of our bowl previews up with at least 48 hours lead time over at VSiN.com. When I put this bowl preview up, UNLV was a pick 'em. I thought that was a pretty good time to jump in on them. Obviously didn't get the big plus money number after Barry Odom left. But look, I mean, everyone's pretty much playing in this bowl game for UNLV, which is really important. And also, typically you would think the loss of a head coach is kind of a detriment to a program, especially a program like UNLV that's been kind of stuck in the mud for a long time. I think they upgraded at head coach with Dan Mullen. So there's a lot of momentum for this program right now. And I think the kids will feed off of it here. Good opportunity to beat a Power 4 conference team. They should take advantage. Whether or not they cover the 3.5 now is maybe a different story. You're kind of getting the worst of the number at this point. But, I mean, there's really no compelling reason to bet on Cal, I don't think.
Yeah. It's like last night's game.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have action on Memphis or West Virginia? Because that was absolutely bonkers when the Mountaineers opened up 2 in that range, and then it flipped the other way. Memphis got to 2.5, then 3, and there was no stopping that. Touch 6, some buyback on that, and the final moments of that game were just absolutely bonkers. Were you involved at all?
Well, when I wrote up the preview, Memphis was -5. We're giving a pick on every bowl game. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have action on every bowl game. So I didn't have anything Memphis in that game, but I can understand why that line kept kind of running out with Seth Hennigan playing, a couple of potential NFL guys at the wide receiver position, and then also a good running back in Mario Anderson as well. So it made sense that one kept running out. But guys, I think that that's something you want to keep in mind too. We think about the spread betting, obviously, from the standpoint of who's in, who's out, where are the coaches, all those kinds of things. If it's a team that's maybe not that invested in the bowl game, maybe you see that on the defensive side, where the offense just goes out there and puts up numbers, and the defense is the side of the ball that's disengaged. And that's exactly what we saw in that game last night from West Virginia.
All right. Tomorrow we have the New Orleans Bowl, and it is Georgia Southern against Sam Houston. Southern laying about 4.5, total around 48.5. Any opinion on this spot?
Yeah, I took Sam Houston State +6. I actually like this play quite a bit. Of course, now it's down to 4.5 because we're getting confirmation that a lot of the guys, specifically in the defensive side of the ball for Sam Houston State, are going to play in this game. There's a lot of guys in the transfer portal with Casey Keeler taking the job at Temple. And, one of the things that we may have to pay close attention to now, guys in the transfer portal aren't guaranteed to skip the bowl game because they've either gotten paid by the program or they're getting paid by the next program. And those things are kind of signed, sealed, and delivered already. And, some of these programs are allowing these kids to play with their previous team. And so that's the case here for Sam Houston State, where several of their guys in the portal, have maybe made a decision or haven't publicly announced a decision, but they're going to do that after the bowl game. So I think this is a Sam Houston State team in their first bowl game where everyone's kind of like, we're going to take one last ride with the boys. And I think that that's something that does galvanize the team a little bit here. So I did like Sam Houston State a lot at +6. Still like them at +4.5, where I think their defense wins the day against a really, really mediocre Georgia Southern team.
What do you think of the under then? They played 6 straight unders and have a good defense.
Yeah, and their offense is not particularly explosive.
Right.
One of the guys who's not going to play in this game for Sam Houston State is their starting running back, who was, obviously the guy who led them in rushing yards here throughout the course of the season. Their quarterback, Hunter Watson, really doesn't create a whole lot of explosive plays. So, yeah, I could definitely see a situation where this game has a good chance of staying under.
Let's follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Adam Burke. You can follow him on X. He's at Skating Tripods, and he's also the managing editor at VSiN.com. But before we get to the Friday night game with Notre Dame and Indiana, we have 2 other bowl games going on that day. It's Ohio and Jacksonville State in the early game, followed by Tulane and Florida. Any bets on either one of those games?
Yeah, guys, the bowl season's brutal, man. I wrote up these 2 previews today, posted them over at VSiN.com. Over 54.5 for Ohio and Jacksonville State. That number's run out now to 56.5, with Ohio announcing that offensive coordinator Brian Smith has had the interim tag removed. He will be the head coach going forward for this program. Jacksonville State does have several opt-outs on the defensive side, or at least guys in the transfer portal who will either play or not play. And if they play, they're not going to be super engaged, I wouldn't think. So that was the game where I played over 54.5 earlier today. It's 56.5 now. Just kind of is what it is. And I think the Tulane Florida game, it's just too big of a number with John Sumrall sticking around, where, I don't know what we're going to get out of Ty Thompson, who takes over for Darian Mensah, who transferred out of the Tulane program. But Thompson's a guy who was originally at Oregon, a 4 or 5-star type of kid by the recruiting services, a really good player who just didn't get an opportunity and got beaten by Mensah for the job. But they still have a really good running back in Mekhi Hughes. They still have a really good head coach in Sumrall, as I mentioned earlier. I just thought that was too many points, and now we're seeing that line kind of come back down as well. Yeah,
the timing that is allowed to go on by the NCAA with the transfer portal to bettors, right, to us on the network talking about these games, it's a big deal. Do you think it's a big enough deal for the NCAA to care and say, you know what, this does kind of suck for the teams that are going to be playing these bowl games. We have to change the timing overall of when they can enter the portal?
So I think their hands are kind of tied in large part due to the academic calendar, right? I mean, they have to get these kids enrolled at their new schools, make sure all the paperwork is taken care of, all those different types of things so that they can be there for the start of the spring semester. So, you got to get through exam weeks first at your current school and then make sure that you're able to get through the portal and get there for the spring semester and all of that. There's really not a whole lot of time to do that. So I think in that, 3 or so week window that you have, there's really not a good solution for this right now that the NCAA can figure out, at least not in my estimation. But of course, much smarter people than me will be able to weigh in on that.
All right, to the games now where both teams are going to be fully motivated and have a full complement of players set to go. The Friday night game, of course, this is going to be the ratings for this game involving Notre Dame on a Friday night before Christmas, I think, is going to be absolutely enormous. Get-in prices, how much, Pauly, to this game?
1,900, yeah.
Right
came
around
down.
there?
It was higher than that. It's come down a bit.
Yeah, and so is the number now. They're down to 7. The Irish are against Indiana, total about 52.5. What are your thoughts here, Adam?
Yeah, I've been waiting for a 7 at reduced juice, maybe -0.5, even money, something like that. If I get a 6.5, I'll be ecstatic on Notre Dame. I don't know that that's going to be the case here, but I mean, look, I got to stay consistent, right? I've badmouthed Indiana for a while now, much to the chagrin of some listeners, much to the chagrin of our colleague Wes Reynolds. They haven't played anybody. And when they've played somebody, yes, they beat Michigan. That's great. I get that. They had under 250 yards of offense in that game. When they played Ohio State, they did absolutely nothing. Curtis Rourke was going nowhere. By the time he finished dropping back, somebody was in the backfield on top of him. It's just a step up based on what they've played here. And I think Notre Dame also can really lean on them running the football. They've got a tremendous running game. Riley Leonard, of course, is a weapon as a runner as well. I just think Notre Dame ultimately wears them down, creates negative plays on defense. I like Notre Dame here. I'm just waiting for kind of my target number, getting, Notre Dame -7, even money, something like that.
All right. Of the 3 games that we have on Saturday then, what is your strongest opinion that you have made on any of those matchups, like in the last 2 weeks since the numbers were posted on the board?
Well, my strongest opinion is if Ohio State loses, Ryan Day should be fired. That's easily the strongest opinion for me as a Buckeye fan. But as far as from a betting standpoint here, Clemson's getting too many points in this game against Texas. I've not been impressed with Quinn Ewers' ball placement in games against better teams, against better defenses. Clemson's defense this year is not Georgia's defense, but it's still pretty damn good. Cade Klubnik is a very experienced guy. He's going to take care of the football. They give him the opportunity to throw one-on-ones to the outside to some raw but very athletic talent. I think they'll be able to move the football. I think they'll be able to force a couple turnovers off of Ewers at least to keep this game close. Do they win it? I don't know. Maybe that's a different story. But I think getting double digits here with Clemson is the look.
Yeah. How about that total, by the way, on the Tennessee-Ohio State game now down to 45.5, the way it looks?
Yeah, it just keeps inching down, inching down. I mean, a lot of talk about the weather, right, about the cold in that game. But, I mean, look, it's not like Ohio State plays in cold weather all of the time. It's not like Will Howard has a, big portfolio of action in 20-degree weather. I think it could impact both teams negatively. But, again, I'm just curious to see. Ryan Day and Chip Kelly are saying all the right things, right? We ran the ball too much against Michigan. We're going to throw it more. We're going to give our wide receivers a chance to make a play. If they do that, Ohio State could create some more explosive plays. So maybe there comes a buyback point on taking the over in this game, but so far we haven't seen that yet from the market.
All right, Adam, thanks so much for the time. Awesome analysis, and the stuff that you write up every single day at VSiN.com is superb. Great job with that. Thank you, and good luck with your bets tonight and this week.
Thank you. And for everybody out there, make sure you go check out Mitch's Week 17 look-ahead piece over at VSiN.com on the NFL lines.
Thank you. He joined us on the Progressive Guest Line.
Very good. And don't watch the college football playoffs this year. Get in on the action. Don't just watch. Get in on the action with the VSiN Road to Jansanity. Your skills could win you $5,000. Absolutely free to enter. Pick the games against the spread every round. Contestant with the most points after the title game wins $5,000. Head over VSiN.com/Jansanity for the rules and to register tomorrow, the last day. VSiN.com/Jansanity. And let the Jansanity begin. Good luck.
Love the contest. I wish that we were eligible to play in it. So much fun. Great idea. Very creative. Up next, the Falcons pulled the trigger. Michael Penix now the starting quarterback.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Message from our buddy Chad. Simple solution to fix the college football portal system. Finish the bowl games and playoffs by January 1st.
Yes.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
You waste weeks of waiting around for no reason. I don't disagree.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I'm
going to read this. I'm going to read this SMU story Friday. It's just also ties into NIL, which they consider it to me now is legal. Now it's legal. But SMU they were the first guys to have the payroll and everything and got the death penalty.
I'll still tell you that I think the Pony Excess is in the top 330 of 30s all time for me.
Yeah.
The U, I can't get over how good that one was.
The 1994. Oh, there's a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
But that was,
remember, like, they didn't take a commercial break for the first hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is some of the best programming I've ever seen in my entire life.
The governor involved. The letterhead sent it.
Posting the money.
From the SMU letterhead?
Yeah.
Whatever it was, yeah.
With a tax, though, here you go. Here's your cash. Come and see me. Come over here and play for us. Uh-huh. So good.
Right. So this article, and they play Saturday, but now back to prominence and so many boosters who were ticked off and what happened. And the thing that lit their fire, that got them going, was that TCU became relevant and awesome with Gary Patterson. And like, how did this happen? And we got to get out of a crappy league, and this shouldn't happen. Look what Gary Patterson did. And Dykes did a good job as well. But then Dykes left and took the TCU job. But the money quote, I think it's from the AD, but I'm going to read it Friday. I don't have it memorized. But they're not taking television money the first 9 years in the ACC. And I think he said, it's a couple $100 million. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm not going to sweat it. Because he just goes to the oil guys. This guy's worth $7 billion. This guy's worth $4 billion. This guy's worth $3 billion. Sure, what do you need? Let's go to the ACC. Let's make this happen. Let's get Lashley and let's turn this thing around. And bam, just like that. They win the American Athletic, and they go up to the ACC, no problem, make the ACC title game, and here they are in the playoff.
Well, then why don't they have a payroll of $100 million?
They get the payroll.
They should, right?
Yeah, that's what they have for a payroll.
Some of these programs, like SMU, that you would never think of, okay, here you go. This roster, the quarterback makes $11 million a year.
Uh-huh.
You never know.
That could be in play when you're talking about the guys who are just going down the resume and the Forbes of what they're worth on these major boosters at SMU. It's ridiculous.
It's like the Michigan guy. Was it Larry Ellison?
Yeah, right.
Who just
did a favor to his girlfriend.
$12 million for the Michigan quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want him.
Yeah.
Come play for us. I want to win. That felt good last year, winning that national title. Let's do that one more time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're seeing props right now on Michael Penix.
Yeah, they're up 226.5 passing yards. $1.10 to throw an interception. Longest completion, 36.5 yards. I think he can go over 226. Absolutely. But
give me the big boy.
It's tough, right?
Give me the big boy and the other one that you said, the prop.
There's those over-under touchdown passes, 2.5, under -125.
Oh, hold on.
How can that be right? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, that's the big boy.
How can that be?
How many quarterbacks have a weekly prop of 2.5 touchdown passes? Not many. He's going to come in right away, 2.5, and it's -125 to the under? I asked you earlier, what are you more comfortable doing here?
That has to be a mistake.
Laying the 8.5 with Penix, or would you have preferred laying 10 with Cousins?
Right.
And I'll flip it. Would you rather have the Giants plus 10 against Cousins or plus 8.5 against Penix?
I feel good about him. He can't do any worse. Cousins was atrocious. 1 touchdown, 9 interceptions the last 5 games. And again, how they were hiding him and he couldn't make any plays. And now you got a guy that also can move. So Rich Gannon was excellent earlier in the show about no play action. It was his bread and butter for his career. No play action, no movement, and then no velocity and nothing on the ball. So now I think we can see now taking some deep shots and utilizing these weapons. And again, get rid of it quick. Let's go. Guys in space. Pitts, London, Mooney. Come on. And then lean on that running game. And it certainly helps. Rich is right. You're playing a bad team.
I think that might be an error on your phone. I would try betting it. I have 1.5.
Yeah. I showed it to you.
Well, I saw it with my own, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
You saw it, all right.
I saw the alt at 3 plus is plus 360, but that under would be majestic to have in pocket.
Okay.
Also, I got to tell you, I think the most popular bet on the board this week is going to be Trey McBride to score a touchdown.
Absolutely.
This is getting talked about everywhere now.
Yes.
And Kyler Murray has made it a point that he's going to do whatever he can to get McBride a touchdown this year, because the guy's killing it on the season, having an awesome year. Problem is, he has not hit pay dirt one time.
Right. So they tried the shovel stuff last week. They tried their best to get him a touchdown, and now they're all talking about it. Murray, everyone, we got to get a touchdown for this guy. Enough's enough. How low?
It probably tells me that because of that, it's not. He won't have a decent price on it, because a guy who has scored no touchdowns on the year should probably have a pretty decent price.
That's true. Get that?
Yeah, see, plus 140. That's not big enough. Guy hasn't scored yet.
Yeah. Outrageous. Damn.
Nah.
It's everything you want. It's like Miller from the Saints, but Miller was 4-1 for the Saints when he came in there. Going to give him a chance, going to give him an opportunity.
That's right.
But now that's ridiculous. Can't do it. Where are we at with the in-play?
They are playing Carolina, by the way. Arizona.
Yeah.
The Carolina defense
can't stop anything.
No, nothing
That's right.
at all.
Western Kentucky's tied it up 7-7 in play now. James Madison 6.5, 49.5 the total.
What are you going to do tonight
the bowl game.
in the Cal UNLV game? I know you have the pregame bet.
I'm stuck. I got to sit there. I got to eat it. Because I'm also I got caught in the Sam Houston game now. Same thing. All these guys are in the portal, but they're going to play now.
Sure.
So that also goes against me. Now, it doesn't mean Georgia Southern can't come out and win and cover, just like tonight. But I'm with Mo Burke. It also makes sense with the under with Sam Houston and their offensive issues and 6 straight unders and how good they were defensively. But here's another one moved against you as well. So.
Number one thing I've learned this bowl season, because it updates every single year now with the landscape of this sport. And I already was not going to rush out and bet any of these college games other than maybe the first-round playoff games, because I don't know what the hell's going to happen. I am not going to rush to make a bet next year when a team all of a sudden announces, like, hey, we have 11 guys going to the transfer portal. I'm not going to bet the other side because the next day the team can come out and say they're still going to play for us. How many examples do we need to have? That's happened a lot so far. And these numbers will flip as a result, and you could be completely stuck.
All right. Let's get this one. I'm gonna piggyback Paul Stone here. Navy +7. G-Bank, best bet. Best bets brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. This from Chris Felica. Navy, Air Force, Army on a 15-3 ATS run in the bowl games. And 4 of the last 7 times they were dogs, they've won outright. Got no problem here after how good Navy looked against Army. And, they'll be ready to play. And they've been an ATM machine going back the service academy schools in the bowl games. 15-3 ATS run. Navy plus the points against Oklahoma. If you're serious about sports betting, you need the G-Bank Visa Signature Card. Most credit cards treat sports books and gaming transactions at cash advances, even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right there. Right now, for a limited time, receive a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. Apply now, VSiN.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. VSiN.com/GBank.
Okay, so I'm making an executive decision right now live on the air. We got to bring back the pizzeria bet segment. People are asking for it, and this is going to be the catalyst for bringing it back. What an email this is from Rich in Canada, ftm@vsin.com. So he has made multiple bets on Sam Darnold to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
He's got him straight, 25-1. He also parlayed with Andy Reid to win Coach of the Year. That pays 935-1. He also parlayed Darnold with Dan Campbell. That pays 155-1. He says he loves Rich Gannon. Therefore, Sam Darnold is absolutely live. And a Reid 16-1 or a Campbell 16-1 or a Campbell 1 seed with all the injuries and drama will overthrow KOC. He needs Detroit to beat Minnesota and win the division final week of the season. And he thinks Campbell will be live. Thoughts? Prayers?
Yeah, sure, yeah. I mean, we saw the blowout today with O'Connell in a landslide talking to executives, but this is set up for Dan if they can run the table. That how'd you do this with 15 guys on the IR? Yeah. It's a tough call. Don't tell me Andy Reid's not out of it either.
Well, if Andy Reid doesn't even get consideration this year,
I know.
Just make it a point to tell him and make it on betting menus. Don't even offer the guy then.
I can't believe the Sean Payton thing. Not even a vote. That's nuts. That's executives though. But this is bizarre how it's going to be. So if you want to put the tinfoil hat on, does Goodell want to say, I don't want this, don't do this? Does he say something to the voters? What's the finalist list look like? We've seen shenanigans before. But if you're going to go out of your way to change the rules and the wording of it, and you don't want this to happen, and now books are just saying we're taking it off the board, or not going to list them entirely. It's a mess.
Well, for those who missed it, you go back on the VSiN Watch app. In the first hour of today's show, you can find Rich Gannon 15 minutes into the first hour. He's absolutely open to Sam Darnold winning the award. Matt Youmans on the program coming up next. We'll get his best bets on the card for tonight and this week here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
More games, more picks, more bets. We'll get to it right now. VSiN host Matt Youmans joins the program as he is on the Progressive guest line. Matt, good afternoon. Thanks for the time. We have another bowl game coming up tonight. It's Cal and UNLV in the LA Bowl. This number has flipped a solid 7.5 points. Now UNLV favored by 3.5. Current number here, what would you want to do with it?
I've had a few people ask me that today. So here's what I did with that game is I bet UNLV at Pick'em a couple days ago because when Fernando Mendoza, the Cal quarterback, hit the transfer portal, I looked at the Cal backup quarterbacks, and you've got 2 of them who have a combined 36 pass attempts this season. And I thought that, UNLV is going to be a good bet in this game because UNLV's top 5 players are all going to play in this game, and they've got very few opt-outs. Mendoza was he's going to be highly sought after, by the way. He's highly thought of by a lot of teams need a quarterback, and completed almost 69% of his passes this year. Is one of the, I would say, top 5 quarterbacks in the ACC with 19 starts over the past 2 years. And without him, Justin Wilcox is going to be, I think, really up against it to try to find ways for this Golden Bears offense to move the ball. Wilcox, really solid defensive coach. I know there's been a few games where Cal has been blown out and the opponents fit up the scoreboard. Well, let's not sugarcoat it here. UNLV's at a huge coaching disadvantage in this game tonight because you lost Barry Odom, you've lost Brennan Marion, the offensive coordinator who's off to Sacramento State, who's not going to call plays. And I don't think this coaching staff that's left over for UNLV really has a clue what to do tonight, and the players are going to kind of have to run the game, which I think they can. Malik Williams can run the game, Ricky White, all those guys who have been around for so long. So I bet UNLV at pick, but when I hit 3.5, I actually played back Cal plus 3.5 for about half my bet today because I really don't like the coaching setup for the Rebels, and I could see this being a tight game just because I think Wilcox is going to manage the game much better than the UNLV coaches will tonight.
All right, Friday night, once in a lifetime from Indiana fans. We know a lot of people who are going to the game, and it could be something and special because, number one, let's hope the game's close, but number two, it could snow. And we know it's going to be cold and what that's going to look like on TV Friday night. So what do you think? Irish down to 7, total 52.
Yeah, DraftKings has still got a 7.5. You have to pay minus 115 for it, but I did bet Indiana plus 7.5, and I'm a bit surprised the total has gone up, and I'm going to play the total under 52.5, or the best number that's out there in the market. Look, Indiana had real trouble running the ball against Michigan and Ohio State.
Yep.
Against the Wolverines, Indiana ran the ball 28 times for, I think, 90 yards, and against Ohio State, 40 times for 85 yards. And again, Indiana outgained Michigan 246 to 206 and got outgained 316 to 153 by Ohio State. Those are two comparable opponents to Notre Dame because Michigan did improve late in the season. That Indiana 20-15 win against the Wolverines doesn't look so bad now after the Wolverines went to Columbus and beat Ohio State. So I think this is going to be a game that's won on the ground. Indiana is not going to have a lot of success running it against the Notre Dame defense. So Curtis Rourke's going to have to try to put the ball in the air. But like you said, it might be a snowy, possibly windy night in South Bend. It's not going to be, I don't think the conditions are going to be conducive to a passing game. And really, what does Notre Dame want to do? With Riley Leonard, Jeremiah Love, and Jadarian Price, those Love and Price are two outstanding running backs. Irish want to dominate this game on the ground. And I think they can. I think that's what they're going to do. Now, I don't think they're going to dominate it, but I think they're going to move the ball on the ground well enough to control the game and win it. I took Indiana plus 7.5, and also I want to play this under the total. Kurt Cignetti's done a hell of a job, and a lot of bettors, including me, tried to pick spots to where we thought Indiana was going to be a fade this year, and there really was no spot. I guess it was against Ohio State, but in the game in Columbus, Indiana had two big special teams miscues that resulted in 2 touchdowns for Ohio State and broke that game open. So I still think that was a little bit deceiving. Hoosiers can hang in here, and I like the 7.5 and under the total. I say Irish win the game by something like 3, 4, 6 points.
All right, follow the money. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. VSiN host Matt Youmans here, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. Couple of games that you like in the NFL. Are you surprised that the Thursday night game now, the number came down from 3? Chargers currently sitting as a 2.5-point home favorite.
A little bit surprised. I need one more from the Chargers to get over 8.5, and with the schedule they have left, that should be realistic. But the Chargers losing a little bit of steam here late in the season. Obviously, with J.K. Dobbins out, the running game has not been as effective, and that was what Jim Harbaugh wanted to base this whole offense on. The Buccaneers acting the Chargers 506 to 206, and Tampa Bay just able to create a bunch of big plays against that Chargers defense. Hopefully that's an outlier. I think it is. That was a bad spot for the Chargers off that game in Kansas City. So I do feel like they're going to bounce back here. And you know what? Chris Massero, our buddy from San Diego, sent me a text last night and said he thinks the Broncos are the biggest frauds in the NFL. And I don't know if they're the biggest frauds in the league, but I do think they're somewhat fraudulent. And Bo Nix is coming off a 3-pick game last week against the Colts. And let's face it, if the Colts did not completely turn into a cluster in the fourth quarter, they would have won that game. That fourth quarter by the Colts is one of the worst quarters of football any team's played in the NFL this season. Broncos were kind of lucky to pull away and win that game. I think this is going to be a spot where the Chargers bounce back. And yeah, Mitch, I'm a little bit surprised it dropped to 2.5, but I'll lay the 2.5 now.
All right, fishy line here. This was down to 3 in some spots. You took 3.5. Philly's hot, yet they're all a small number on the road against Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take the 3.5 with the Commanders. I really think, previous to the game against Pittsburgh, and again, the Steelers made a few mistakes in that game to help the Eagles, pull away, win by 2 touchdowns. The previous 2 games, the Philadelphia offense had a lot of problems. And Saquon Barkley bailed them out. Well, the passing attack looked a lot better against the Steelers. This is a huge game in the division for the Commanders. Obviously, the Eagles are in great position now to win the NFC East, and I'm not too concerned about that bet. But I think, a team on a 10-game win streak is always ripe to be beaten late in the season. And I think the Eagles win streak is going to end in D.C. this weekend. I'll take the 3.5 here. Because I feel like the Eagles were a little bit fortunate against the Steelers, and they were a little bit fortunate in a bunch of these games during the win streak. And the Commanders a bit of an overreaction by a lot of people. I think that they almost got beat by the Saints and they blew the big lead. I just felt like they got a big lead and they quit playing. So I'm not going to really downgrade the Commanders. I think Jaden Daniels and the Commanders get the win here and stop the Eagles win streak.
Get the win. Strong. College basketball tonight. Some really good games on the docket. Oklahoma plays Michigan. This game is in Charlotte on a neutral at 9 o'clock Eastern. Michigan the favorite here. Which side do you like?
I like Michigan. Dusty May has really got the arrow pointing up for the Wolverines. I knew he was going to do a good job, and he was a great hire when Michigan got him. But, man, he's turned this thing around a lot quicker than I thought he could. And obviously, he brought Vlad Golden from Florida Atlantic with him. This Wolverines team's got some size. They got pretty good guards. I know they had a big lead against Arkansas last week and blew it and ended up losing that game to Coach Cal and the Razorbacks. But still, the way they played in building that big lead was really impressive. And I thought 3 was a little bit cheap here against an Oklahoma team coached by Porter Moser that really hasn't been tested by a tough schedule. Sooners got a few decent wins so far, and they got some transfers Moser brought in the offseason, including Kobe Elvis from Dayton. But I don't think Oklahoma's been tested by a team as big and as athletic as Michigan yet. And I laid 3 with this one overnight. We talked about it on the show last night. I thought 3 was a little cheap. And also, last night, Circa had 6.5 on Memphis at Virginia. And JVT and I were talking about this, and I said there's no way, if you look at the metrics on these 2 teams, that Memphis should be laying 6.5 at Virginia. I think it should be about half of that. So I took the points last night with the Cavs. And, of course, that line has dropped a lot today. So I really couldn't recommend it at this point being 3.5. But I thought that number was way off base. And, when you're betting college basketball, you got to look at the overnight numbers. And if you know what you're doing, you should be on the right side of the moves.
Yeah, I still see a 4.5 out there right now. Would you grab that or no?
I think 4.5 is okay. Otherwise maybe you could just live bet it and see if you could get maybe a better number. But 4.5 is okay. I thought the number actually should be 3.5.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Thank you. Good luck tonight and this week.
Thanks.
Thanks, Matt.
There you go. Matt Youmans, VSiN host, join us here on the Progressive Guest Line. By the way, I'm looking at first-round playoff odds. Props, I should say. How many overtime games will we get?
Oh, there's some great stuff out there now.
In the entire tournament.
Oh, yeah?
The number is 1.
Really? They this weekend, they have quarterback to throw most passing.
Oh, I'm seeing all this
awesome.
right now.
I took a little bit of Aller.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a good job. Yeah, there's some good stuff out there. Absolutely. Looking to bet smarter? VSiN has a perfect holiday gift for you. Sign up on our holiday special today. Get VSiN Pro access. Everything we do through May 1st, only $79. All the stuff up there, incredible. Adam Burke on all the bowls, Mackinnon, betting systems, NFL, Cohen on the NBA, Nigel on soccer as well, everything you want, and the college playoff betting guide, and get up to Jan Sanity as well, the betting splits, DraftKings and Circa, and the dog videos. VSiN.com/subscribe. Get our holiday special now, VSiN.com/subscribe.
In-pocket plays are coming up next, and VSiN host Adam Shine is an NFL awards voter. He was very transparent in his latest column at VSiN.com. He wrote who he's going to vote for in some of the awards markets, and we'll tell you who next.
The guy has an algorithm algorithm to determine the winner of any given college basketball game.
Someone gives you 10,000 to 1 on anything. You take it. Take it. Take it.
I bet you $20 I can get you gambling before the end of the day. No way. I'll give you 3-1 odds. Nope. 5-1. Nope. 10-1. You're on.
All right, 4 minutes left in the second quarter. Boca Bowl, 7-7. James Madison, Western Kentucky. JMU 4.5 in play, 41. Now the total. Easy winner last night with the NBA Cup game under. Thanks to Zach Cohen for putting it out, VSiN.com, that every NBA Cup game in Vegas has gone under. And the OKC couldn't make a shot.
Yeah, they were 5 of 32 from downtown.
Yikes.
I honestly don't think it was great Milwaukee defense. I'm not ripping the Bucks at all. I'm just telling you, a lot of those threes were open, and OKC just put up a bunch of bricks last night.
Yeah, and maybe 3 days in Las Vegas had something to do with it. Let's go have some fun, right? Bucks big ticket to cash as well. All right, that's the graded. Got tennis, very popular play. Now, I know if we're all thinking alike, we're not thinking. And if you get the college football playoff guide, and I'm just pointing it out here, Tennessee, very popular, plus 7.5. Notre Dame, Indiana under Friday night. The Cal line goes up tonight. That's crazy now. UNLV 3.5. Florida, this was 14, now back down to 12.5, 12 against Tulane. That's the Friday afternoon game. I'm trying to trust Tampa again. And again, Tampa, most points scored on the road. Dallas, they allow the most points at home. I'm taking Tampa Sunday night as they continue this streak. And big favorites now, $5 to win the division. Tampa lane 4 against Dallas. Georgia Southern, this is now down to 5.5. Now some guys will play for Sam Houston State. That's tomorrow. Why isn't that a day game? Why are you going against the NFL game? Right? I would have moved that up.
God, that doesn't make sense.
Chiefs 2.5 against the Texans. This is now 3.5. Mahomes good to go again. It was great at practice. Nagy said he looked good, so did Hollywood Brown. Adding Herbert. What happened? Herbert, no interception tomorrow. He got me last week. Coming right back with it. No minus 140. Caesars and Will Hill. He's thrown 2 the whole season, and you got to love this. And the juice is crazy with both kickers, Dicker against Lutz. But both teams that make a 33-yard field goal, $1.15 at the Westgate. Shop it as well. DK has great numbers up on kicking props every week. There you go.
Yeah, so Chiefs are 3.5 everywhere. That's what my wow was at.
Okay.
If that keeps going up, I will no doubt grab Houston plus 4.
Did you get any plus 2?
On the Chiefs?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Steering right at plus 110 on the money line yesterday. I didn't pull the trigger on that. But
good observation.
I honestly
they grabbed the plus 2.
I don't think Mahomes is going to be 100%.
I don't care.
They can say whatever they want.
I don't care.
Well, Paul, they don't cover spreads. So I'm saying if they get to 4, I'm taking Houston.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying there.
Well, I know. I'm saying we've seen the guy hobbled and injured before, and
we've also seen this team not have the ability to cover games.
Yeah.
With the and they had 6 turnovers last week and barely win the game.
Yep.
You know, so 2-team moneyline parlay last night came in. That was Memphis in the bowl game, which they tried to do everything under the sun to give that game away. They won, thankfully. St. Bonaventure in college basketball, that was minus 108. That got there. The Pendine Spurs Knicks over 225.5. I also have Tennessee plus 7.5. You know what I'm going to do? You're absolutely right. I'm either going to get off this game, I think, or wait and play at my first opportunity if one presents itself to get a better number on Ohio State. There isn't a single human being making the case for the Buckeyes. That's a reach, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, the total keeps crashing now, too. And the total down to 45. And Chip Kelly's got to do the right thing here. You got to come out and throw.
All right.
Absolutely. Everyone's right. If they come out slow, running game isn't there, the crowd's going to turn on them.
So I added this. The number's gone, but I did post it when I bet it earlier today at the picks page at vsin.com. Maple Leaf Stars under 6 tonight. Some numbers on the game. I was minus 20 cents, by the way. The total has gone under in 7 of the last 8 games for Dallas. The total between these two teams, 5-2 last 7. Leafs were recently on a 13-3 under run before a couple of games either went over or pushed in early December, and I had to do it, adding Sam Darnold 25-1 to win comeback player of the year.
This is going to be an all-timer. Either it's going to blow up in our faces, or we had it the whole time.
Might blow up. It might blow up.
Well,
I'm willing to take that shot.
Did you make the other bet?
On who?
The thing the touchdown thing. Can we talk about it? Did you get it in?
No.
Oh, not yet. I can't talk about it. Okay.
No, you don't want to talk about it.
All right, just don't just watch the college football playoffs this year. Get in on the action. The VSiN Road to Jan Sanity contest, where it closes before we hit the air tomorrow. So get up there now with the deadline. Don't wait. Tomorrow's the last day to enter. VSiN.com/JanSanity. Pick the games against the spread every round. The contestant with the most points wins $5,000. Put your skills to good use. We found a host in 2017 doing a contest as well. VSiN.com/JanSanity. Get up there, get in it. $5,000, free to enter. Good luck. Weighted bowl games, playoffs. VSiN.com/JanSanity. Go get it.
I will give you a couple of nuggets here from Adam Schein's latest column at VSiN.com, up on the website. I tweeted it out last night, Mitch Moss Radio on X, if you can get it there. So the Schein 9 NFL Week 16. Again, he is an NFL awards voter. I'll give you a couple of things here, but I want you to go there and read it for the whole thing for yourself, because he's got brilliant observations in here from a guy who has a vote, again. And he wrote, on the Vikings and their quest, we've been obsessed with the Vikings all year. He loves them. Sam Darnold has been phenomenal, and he's getting my vote for comeback player of the year. It's amazing what elite coaching, parentheses, Kevin O'Connell is my coach of the year, end of parentheses, and strong weapons can do for a quarterback. So he just flat out told you in the column, my vote is going to Sam Darnold for comeback player of the year, and my vote for coach of the year is going to Kevin O'Connell. One voter, I get it. But he also wrote that the MVP race is over. It's Josh Allen. He said, congratulations to Josh Allen for locking up MVP with another Superman-like performance. A couple of things that he put in this column. Only quarterback NFL history with 2+ passing touchdowns and 2+ rushing touchdowns in back-to-back games. Back-to-back games with 340+ passing yards, 2+ passing touchdowns, 60+ rushing yards, and 2+ rushing. I can't even believe I'm saying these out loud. Prior to last week, Steve Young was the only quarterback in NFL history to achieve a 342, 60-2 in a game. He's done it back-to-back weeks.
Lamar?
That is awesome.
No, sorry. Lamar lights up Pittsburgh and Houston on national TV the next 2 games. Bill
Barnwell made a strong case that Lamar can still win the MVP today at ESPN.com. Okay. I think it's going to be Allen in a landslide.
All right. And one other thing that Adam mentioned, and we were talking about it earlier, I think if Minnesota, and I added more O'Connell today, I think if Minnesota wins the next 2 games, I don't care if they lose to Detroit. Their win total was 6.5. Oh. Everyone had them last place. If they are 14-2 and still lose to Detroit and don't win the division, I don't care. He's got to get it. To go 14-3, and how good, and they're going to be a factor in the playoffs?
So hold on. If they're 14-3, Chiefs are 16-1?
I still go O'Connell.
What if Mahomes is injured early in this game and they win games with Wentz?
I know.
Then you don't. Then you go Andy Reid.
Can I split the vote?
Sure. And then win both bets. By the way, I would also, here's why. Go read what Adam Schein wrote about Defensive Player of the Year. I'll leave it at that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to give that one away on the air.
Very good. Strong. All right, Pizzeria. It's open. Tip jar. Let's go. Let's do it this week. Mitch is right. All the Darnold tickets is a fascinating discussion. I don't think, well, I know the league doesn't want Sam Darnold to win. They said that. I go back to the summer discussion we had with 2 people. I agree with Adam Chernoff that they're saying, don't vote for this guy. We don't want this to happen. We hated what happened with Flacco. We wanted Hamlin to do it. What are you coming back from? Nothing. Okay. And then Paul Charchian made the case, Darnold, and we'll take the temperature with him tomorrow, what people are saying in Minnesota. But it's a great discussion.
They can try all they want. If voters still vote for him, he can win the award.
Yeah, that's right. So tip jar's open. Let's see your tickets. We'll do them later in this week. Email the show, ftm@vsin.com, and let's see what tickets you have and drop it in there. ftm@vsin.com. Play, name, state. What do you have in the pizzeria? Let's do it with all the future tickets. And perfect now with NFL awards.
Yeah, I got to be honest. Again, I just told you that I bet him, and I gave it out there in pocket. I actually would vote for Tim Patrick, and I think the number on Joe Burrow is laughable. I think he has no business winning comeback player of the year.
1,614, yeah.
I think it's silly.
Yeah.
Played 10 games last year.
Yeah. Yesterday at MGM, he wasn't offered. Now Darnold, they put out Darnold on the board.
12-1.
Yeah. Wild.
Oh.
JVT, Tim Murray coming up next. Prime time, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. Cashing out, Joe Serralo, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning line with Grayson Harrison, 7 a.m. as well. Touchdown, Western Kentucky, right before halftime. 14-7, 50 seconds left.
I am willing to bet that JVT and Tim Murray are going to have a lot to say about Wisconsin-Green Bay college basketball today. That is some speculation on my part, and this is why I love VSiN and being a part of the Gambling Network. Not many spots can you talk about Green Bay. Nobody's going to, on a Gambling Network, people are absolutely interested in that, and they can't get enough of it. How many times in history will we get a spot like this where a coach is he's not prepared to do either one of his jobs, and you can bet against him?
Nobody you. Nobody
Lost
you.
outright today to nobody you.